AskReddit by MC Gnome. What's an unfun fact? During WW1, the British intelligence service created a propaganda campaign that said the Germans were boiling their dead to extract fat and produce nitroglycerine to replenish their dwindling supply. This lie was exposed after the war and there was a considerable amount of public outrage. When similar reports came back of the atrocities that the Nazis were committing during WW2, most people dismissed them because of the boy who cried wolf situation 20 years earlier and really damaged the public opinion of the war, which no one wanted to repeat in the first place. Reputation is easily lost and hard to gain. Parvovirus can infect dogs and cats at any particular age and kill them pretty efficiently. It's especially good at doing this with puppies. There's no cure and no antiviral, just boosters and hydration IV you can give them. When a dog comes home healthy from the recovery from a parvo infection, they are contagious for 2 weeks, and if they pee, poop or vomit anywhere at all, including dog parks, that freaking virus is able to survive for up to a year, including in 100+ degree weather. Parvovirus sucks. I used to work at a local pet shop. They stopped selling puppies 16 years ago because they got a litter in and all 6 puppies had parvo. Only one survived and the owner kept that one dog and decided to never sell puppies again. That puppy is still alive today and is doing well. In 2014, the CDC once found a smallpox sample that they had lost and didn't even know it. It was just laying around in some random storeroom. https://www.npr.org/001//007/008/329884145/in-8-lab-store-room-of-smallpox. This week in storage wars. Around 1.5 million people die from TB annually, which is a disease consistently treatable by antibiotics in almost all cases. In most places where TB is endemic, HIV is also endemic, and you see a lot of comorbidity with those two. Even if people can afford and access antibiotics, their immune systems are often too compromised to fight it off. Fatal familial insomnia exists. It's a rare, incurable prionic brain disease that progressively destroys your brain's ability to sleep. Eventually you stop sleeping altogether, go insane, have seizures, and die. Prions are scary. No cure treatment, and mostly deadly. But they are rare. At least, if they became somehow common like a rhinovirus, humans would almost be wiped out. When your skin becomes red from spending too much time under the sunlight, it's basically because your skin cells are committing suicide to avoid becoming cancerous. Edit. Source https://www.google.com/amp/www.liveessence.com/amp/38039-what-causes-sunburns.html. The process is called apoptosis, and when cells whose DNA gets messed up by UV radiation doesn't commit suicide, that's when it starts growing out of control and this becomes skin cancer. I'm no expert, but many medical students and professionals I know have told me this is how it works, perhaps in an oversimplified manner. So when you get cancer, it's because that one stupid fucking skin cell was too much of a pussy to kill itself. Brushtail possums are coprophagic, eat their own shit. They need their food to go through their digestive system twice to get all the nutrients. They are nocturnal, so spend the night eating eucalyptus and other plant leaves and flowers. During the day, they curl up into a little ball with their mouths close to their bums, and eat the soft poo as it comes out in. Then while they're out at night, they poo out hard, long pellets of poo, having absorbed all the nutrients. Deleted. There is a penguin species with sex practices that were so disturbing that the person studying it almost didn't publish his findings. It involved a lot of rape, necrophilia and pedophilia. Good thing only gentlemen and scholars could read his journal. Can we get a subreddit for these? I'd like to get depressing facts on the regular, thanks. Depends on what you find as fun, but King Henry VIII exploded in his coffin while the grave was being dug. The mess was cleared up by stray dogs. Build-up of gases in his body, I'm assuming. Only 1 in every 1,000 sea turtles born ever make it to adulthood. To add to this, saving baby turtles at the beach does less, almost nothing, for conservation compared to protecting adult turtles in the ocean. Dead people can get goosebumps. How? Scallops have eyes. Around 200 under the shelly lip. There's a planet where it rains molten glass, horizontally, at 5,400 miles per hour or 8,700 kmh. The first responder to die in 911 was killed by someone jumping out of the building and landing on them. A human tooth has 36 calories. Stay in school. Don't do drugs. Eat your teeth. Male cats have spines on their penises that rake the walls of a female's vagina to trigger ovulation and to hold the female in place while mating. I know for a fact the female cats were not consulted about this. The female tarantula hawk wasp stings a tarantula between the legs, paralyzes it, then drags the prey to a specially prepared burrow, where a single egg is laid on the spider's abdomen, and the entrance is covered. Sex of the larvae is determined by fertilization. Fertilized eggs produce females, while unfertilized eggs produce males. When the wasp larva hatches, it creates a small hole in the spider's abdomen, then enters and feeds voraciously, avoiding vital organs for as long as possible to keep the spider alive. After several weeks, the larva pupates. Finally, the wasp becomes an adult and emerges from the spider's abdomen to continue the life cycle. With a name like tarantula hawk wasp, of course it has to do something as badass and brutal as this. People who handle cockroaches develop allergies to them. This usually prevents them from drinking pre-ground coffee because of the cockroaches that get grounded in with the large batches. This is a viscerally unfun fact. When a male bee, drone, ejaculates, its testicles explode and the drone dies. It is literally a one-shot wonder. This is also a drone bee's only job. The males are literally slaves only used for breeding, and when autumn comes and the hive hibernates, all the drones are forced out of the hive to die in the cold. Sea otters kill and rape baby seals, not always in that order. Seagulls are also known to eat baby seals' eyeballs. Bacteria, usually, outnumbers your own cells on your own body. How dare they? Penguins practice prostitution. They trade shiny rocks for sexual favors. Whales don't die of old age. Eventually they just don't have the strength to resurface and slowly drown. Deleted. Squirrels will eat baby birds and horses will eat baby chicks if given the chance. Pandas will eat mice and other small animals on a regular basis. Most, if not almost all, species of animals will eat other animals for a multitude of reasons. Deep sea octopus babies take 5+ years to hatch, while mama octopus never leaves the nest to feed and dies when the babies hatch. She doesn't eat for 5+ years. Edit. Oh my, this really blew up. Many of you pointed out the source already. It is from Radiolab Optimum episode. I highly recommend. At least she has her mate's detached penis to play with. Suicide bombers are a lot easier to identify post-mortem than you'd expect. This is because the blast from the suicide belt hits the base of the head in such a way that the head pops off like a cork. Investigators therefore have a relatively intact head to ID. Edit. Thanks for the gold, kind stranger. In response to speculation in the comments, I'd like to say that I am not a veteran, a forensics expert, or a gore site editor, and I have not witnessed this in person, although I have seen a couple of photos. I'm just a true crime guy who looked into the forensics after the St. Petersburg and Manchester bombings in 2017. My original source was a quote by journalist Joe B. Warwick. I like Billy Connolly's bit about training suicide bombers. Right, lads, pay attention. I'm only going to show you this once. Tapeworms can grow up to 32 feet inside of you and they eat half of what you eat. People used to consume them on purpose to lose weight. Edit, was not expecting so many worm comments. Dolphins in captivity usually commit suicide by suffocating themselves. Famous example, Flipper. It gets worse, they do this by consciously deciding to not breathe until they die. It's less pressing a pillow against your own face, and more holding your breath so hard it kills you, and you are awake and aware the entire time. There are only 2 states in the US that have outlawed child marriage. One of them only just put it into law a few weeks ago. 23 states don't even have an age limit on marriage. It's 3 states, New Jersey, Delaware, and Pennsylvania, with Pennsylvania being the one to outlaw it a few weeks ago. https://www.cbsnews.com/news/pennsylvania-child-marriage-ban-third-state/closed bracket. We still have a long way to go, though. Edit, formatting. Scuba divers can experience a sudden change in pressure when swimming near pipes and will get sucked inside. Doesn't matter the size of the hole. It's called delta P. Worst part? Someone else usually has to go inside the pipe to remove the body. The video of the crab being sucked into the tiny crack in the pipe comes to mind when I read this. Every unborn baby grows a mustache in the womb, which then spreads to cover the entire body. The baby then eats the entire hair called lanugo, and excretes it after birth with their first bowel movement, which is a substance called meconium. This legitimately sounds like a made-up fact. I had to Google lanugo to confirm this was even a thing. Thanks for this trivia. Deleted. Male octopus, you know what, Denise? Go FCK yourself. Proceeds to rip off and throw dick. When preparing a body for an open casket, the mortician will sew the person's jaw shut, to keep their mouth from flopping open, and place special contact lenses on the eyes lined with hooks, both to keep the eyelid from snapping open due to shrinking tissues, and to give the eye a bit more natural bulge, as the eye tends to sink into the socket after death. My father is a mortician who now works for a university, but during his time as a funeral director, he embalmed some brothers who were in a terrible accident. This was a few years ago when I was in high school. They had been run over by a car, exposing their skulls. The family wanted an open casket, so my dad had to make them look as presentable as he could. He said that he had to fill the skulls with something hard because, yeah, he managed to make them look good and the family was happy. It's an art. A lot of it involves makeup and craftsmanship to make someone look like they're sleeping, so as not to freak out the family. It's definitely not a profession for the faint of heart. A coronal mass ejection, CME, is a powerful burst of energy from the sun, disrupting electronics and causing blackouts. The last time one hit Earth, it ignited telegraphs on fire. We are due for one every 150 years. The last one hit in 1859. These solar storms are a release of plasma. https://en.wikipedia.org/plasma_open bracket physics closed bracket and accompanying magnetic field. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/magnetic_field closed bracket from the solar corona. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/solar_corona closed bracket. Wait a minute. Edit. I'm told we're due to be hit by one every 150 years. They happen quite frequently, and miss Earth all the time. I mean 2020 has been a complete toilet so far, why not throw this on the pile? You may have heard that South Koreans have a superstition called fan death, where if you keep a fan on too long it will kill you. The history of its origins is much darker. When people committed suicide and the coroner had to determine cause of death, they would say it was death by fan. This is to save the face of the family and not cause them shame. It eventually became a superstition and one that Westerners find funny. Finally, an explanation for this. My fault for not trying to find it out myself earlier, but at long last, an answer. Was wondering WTF this shit was about. First time I heard about it was when my ex, non-Korean, asked me, Korean by heritage, if me and or my family believed that leaving a fan on and going to sleep would kill us. Deleted. Chickens do this too. I had a hen die of a presumed heart attack. As I moved it from the coop it let out loud chicken noise that gave me an out-of-body experience. The Zodiac killer could have been caught numerous times if not for San Francisco police dispatch incompetence. Many serial killers flew under the radar because of police incompetence. Dahmer did, and maybe Bundy too. Allegedly, there are 50 active serial killers at any given time in the US. Female ducks get raped so frequently that they have a second decoy vagina that they can offer to intruders so they don't get pregnant by the duck they don't want to get pregnant by. Edit. Holy shit, this blew up. Thank God it was about duck pussies, wouldn't have wanted to waste it on something stupid. Females' primary vaginas also are twisted with spikes at the ends to fend off male ducks. Unfortunately, male ducks' penises are also twisted. There could be some planets swimming in the deep space without suns and even without galaxies, and you can't even see stars from their surface, absolute darkness. Creepier is that rogue planets can theoretically harbor life. There are a lot of bug parts that we eat in our food without knowing. Just getting those extra nutrients I don't have to pay for. There's a species of river dolphin and there are less than 10 in the world. Everyone loves river dolphins. What's the species name? Anne Frank's diary had details of masturbation in it, yet it was taken out by her father before publishing until recently. Well, to be fair, she was a teenager in A Secret Annex, and he was a father in the 1940s and 1950s. Both parts of the story are entirely acceptable. Anyone can have a brain aneurysm at any age, no matter your health situation. My 21-year-old friend had one as he walked in the door to his house. He still lived with his mother, father and sister, and his parents were making dinner in the kitchen. He asked for a glass of water, intending to take some painkillers for his sore head. And then he just fell over. The doctors said he was dead before he hit the floor. It was, and still is, devastating. There is a whale called 52 Blue that only sings at that frequency, meaning it can't communicate with other whales. It is nicknamed the loneliest whale on the planet. There's a theory that the whale is either deaf or a hybrid species of two different kinds of whale, making a song that is in between those two. Cockroaches stab their mates with their barbed insectics and come in the lady cockroach wound. You forgot the part where male cockroaches don't know if who they are stabbing is male or female, so they're really just coming in random roaches and hoping for the best. A single female tiger killed 436 people in India. She is known as the champawat tiger. Wikipedia. https://en.wikipedia.org/wiki/champawat_tiger . That fact's not as fun as your profile. You live up to your name and I will never get tired of it. The most common last words that are said before dying is typically something doesn't feel right or something is wrong. Of course, followed by a severe heart attack, stroke, whatever. Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. My best friend's last words were I feel faint as his aorta burst. Deforestation in the Amazon got up 55% from January to April. Nobody's watching, slash and burn it, also we make a couple more bucks. There's about 2,500 languages which have died out and or are being less and less used with each passing day.